And now it's 9 o'clock. Would we all rise for the national anthem?
Pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America. Liberty and justice for all.
I will not sing the national.
We're all gonna get the song.
I want to welcome you all here today. We'll start out by approving the agenda. Is there somebody got anything to make a motion, or what, do you got any comments?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Approve the previous minutes from board meeting January 27, 26. And there was a misspelling in January 2026 meeting minutes on page 15.
Can we do that all at once, or do you want that a separate action?
I think either way is fine. The misspelled word was on the 20th.
I make a motion to approve the board meeting minutes of the 27th.
Second.
Okay, been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay, yeah, you weren't here. Correct. Correction to the misspelled word in January 20th, 26 meeting minutes.
I make a motion to amend the minutes from the January 20th meeting and correct the misspelled word.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second on the misspelled word. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we're gonna go to public comment, and Brent, you would like to say something first?
Yeah, I just kind of want to read this real quick. Public comment periods and public hearings is our opportunity for members of the public to inform Houston County governing bodies about their views. Houston County can establish specific periods of public comment and set time limits on speaking opportunities. These guidelines help maintain order, ensure efficiency, and allow for maximum public participation. Houston County guidelines are below. Speakers should sign in at each meeting on the sign-in sheet near the entrance. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes per comment period. Timer will be visible to indicate when each speaker's time is up. Speakers should speak into the microphone when it is their turn to speak. Speakers should state their name and where they are from. Speakers may not give their time to other people. Only one person should address the board at a time. Comments should be directed to the governing body or chair. Public comment is for receiving input, not for dialogue, debate, or question and answer with the Board of Commission. People do not have the right to disrupt the meeting or make vulgar, inappropriate comments and gestures. Speakers and the governing body should be respectful of each other.
So I would just want to make a clarification here. We're 2 minutes away from a public hearing, so we could allow one person to probably just have a public comment, but are we going to come back to that after the public hearing?
Yes, we'll do that quick, that public hearing, and then we'll come back to public comment. Is
Okay.
that okay?
Yep.
You guys?
That's fine.
Okay. We got 2 minutes. Would somebody like to come up and speak right now? Because we have to take a break after one speaker for the public hearing. Anybody out there would like to speak now?
Well, if we wait 50 seconds here, or we'll be in there.
9:05.
Okay.
And
Hi, again, my name is David Getzinger. I'm from Houston County. So, hi again. First and foremost, I would like to express my appreciation and your service to Houston County for your ongoing dedication to our community. I'm here again as a concerned citizen regarding another potential development that may impact the character of our county. In addition to the discussion surrounding the Maribel transmission line project last week, I understand there's a proposal for a 25-acre solar farm on prime agricultural land. This proposal raises several concerns, including but not limiting to health implications for neighboring properties, unsustainable use of agriculture land for commercial purposes, potential decrease in property values in the surrounding area, and disregards to the guidelines outlined in our Houston County Comprehensive Plan. Given the importance of these issues, I would really just like to focus on the Houston County Comprehensive Plan that was created by the people for the people. It says many places where this wouldn't support it, but on page 2, it talks about Houston County's comprehensive plan will serve as an expression of the county's future vision and a strategic map to reach that vision. The plan will be an important tool for the county to articulate desired land use patterns to ensure a safe, pleasant, thriving environment. It will also provide the overall foundation for all land use regulation in Houston County. It talks about on page 4, protecting the natural environment was a top priority, while future infrastructure improvements were ranked lower in priority. On page 6, it talks about Houston County understanding the cultural and economic significance of agriculture to our community. Local decisions should support maintaining and sustaining the vitality of family farms and locally owned agricultural operations, while promoting practices that balance soil and water conservation with economic sustainability. These are just a few key points in our comp plan. They really highlight the guiding principles that we're supposed to be using for this situation. In closing, I'd like to share a brief story. Last week, a friend who was traveling west to a sporting event remarked on the numerous fields of solar panels and expressed her disappointment, noting how ugly they were and how fortunate she felt to live in Houston County, where we don't have that. I ask today, as you sit, as our Board of Commissioners, as the voices of Houston County, I pray that you vote for the people, what is best to serve the entire community, and prove that you are in support of the community that you support. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion to go into a public hearing?
I'll make
Wow.
I'll make a motion to go into public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, let's start. The public hearing is pursuant to Minnesota statute 375A.1205, subdivision 1. The purpose of the hearing is to consider making the position of an auditor and / treasurer and recorder positions to appointed. Mr. Parker, would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, so this is kind of an ongoing public hearing we've had, just getting people's input in the process of having our auditor, treasurer, and also recorder being appointed opposed to elected. The Minnesota statute has given the commission authority to do so for the reasons of increasingly the recorder and auditor treasurer has become a very difficult position, and the skills required to perform the job have kind of continually are advancing, and so being able to appoint people and positions based on their experience and ability versus elected is something that we're kind of looking at, and so we're just trying to get public information. Just kind of a little background as well. Out of the 87 counties in the state of Minnesota, 60 of them have an appointed recorder, and then all 56 of them have appointed auditor and treasurers, so kind of roughly 68% of them. And this has kind of been a common trend through Minnesota just because of the complexity of the positions.
I just want to make a statement on, it has been pointed out to us in an email that why are we having all these public hearings? And it was stated that we're having all these hearings to get the answer we want. That's not the case at all. We were trying to have these hearings to get input from the public because we know this is a big deal and we wanted to get as much input as we could. First couple of times we didn't have anybody, so but were we on our 5th or 6th one here? So
Be our 5th one.
yeah, we're just trying to get everybody's input, so.
We also receive individual input from
Right.
phone calls and emails, personal contact. So it's not just at these meetings.
Anybody in the crowd got anything to add to this or want to speak on this here?
I guess I didn't know, my name is Bruce Bowman, I live in Caledonia in Houston County. This one, I didn't even come to listen about this one, but I've got a comment. My aunt, one of my aunts was Merle Schultz, who never would have gotten that position if she would have had to prove that she was eligible to do it. And yet she wound up being one of the top ones in the state. I was at her funeral where one of the Supreme Court justices actually came and spoke at her funeral. All right, so I think it's a tragedy if we appoint people and local people don't have an opportunity to have that job and they can learn on the job and probably do pretty well. She certainly did. That's a good example of it, in my opinion. So.
Anybody else?
Good morning, I'm Bev Bauer. I was the Houston County Recorder for 20 years. I was elected. I know people say that an election is like a popularity contest. Well, you all know when you run for election, it's a lot of work. You guys have districts, these offices have the whole county. I don't know, it just seems to me that a popularity contest is not the correct wording. When you take away the right for someone to vote for an office, that is just, I mean, we lose so many rights all the time, and this is what you're gonna do, is take away one more right of the Houston County voters to decide who holds these offices. And you talk about the whole county that you're running against or running for. You have 5 commissioners that you're going on a background that doesn't necessarily play into anybody knowing what these jobs are. There is no school to go to figure out how to do the recorder's office. It's experience. Auditor, treasurer, well, the treasurer, you got your bookkeeping experience and stuff like that, but you know, any of these offices, you just need to work at it, and you need to, I had many people when I was running my first year, they asked me, you know, well, are you a Democrat or Republican? It's not a political office. It has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. I had my opponent was running with, I'm gonna be geographically aware when I hire people. Well, that's not telling you anything either. That's nothing to run on. You know, I had 15 years of experience in the office. So that's what I ran on, my background. You know, I don't know, everybody doesn't have that. I like the idea that these officers of these offices answer to the taxpayer, not to the 6 of you or the coordinator or whoever it is, you know? So anyway, my vote, or if I was gonna say anything, I would definitely want to leave them elected yet. Thank you.
You. Anybody else out there? Please come forward.
Yvonne Krogstad from Spring Grove. I am going to address the qualifications the candidates who apply for the position would state their experience in their ads. Granted, that doesn't mean that a person is good at his or her job, but that's also true of an appointed person. You don't know how well that person has done the job. And also elected officials are directly responsible to the voters, ensuring the public has a say who manages the funds. In addition, elected positions also provide better checks and balances since they are more independent of the county board. So you mentioned that 56 counties out of 87 in Minnesota have gone to the appointed system. Have you checked to see if it is working well for them? And even if it is working well for them, do we have to follow suit, or can we keep our independence? Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, so somebody want to make a motion to come out of the public hearing, or do we have to be in it for so long?
No, we can come out.
If there's no other comments, or public input, I should say.
Motion to come out of the public hearing session?
Got a motion? Second?
I'll second it.
And a second, to come out of public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're out of public hearing. Now we'll go back to public comment. So anybody else on the crowd would like to come up and speak? This is your turn.
Good morning, I'm Clint Bonnerx from Caledonia. First, I'd like to thank each of you for your service. I understand your jobs aren't easy. Secondly, I'd like to state that I have no issues with regenerative energy. What I do have an issue with is the development of large commercial solar on our wide open spaces and productive ag lands. I've heard the arguments that it is my land, I can do with it what I want. And we are going to pasture sheep on this, thus keeping the land in ags. But what it boils down to is a structure that spans nearly 25 acres. I grew up here like most of you, and I love this county, and the beauty of it is why I choose to support our comprehensive land use plan to maintain its wide open spaces and productive lands. Allowing this project or the Marybelle and similar commercial scale projects would directly affect the moral compass of our land use plan. Myself, along with other concerned citizens, went out last weekend to get a petition signed asking the board to uphold the comprehensive land use plan. And as of this morning, we had 692 signatures and counting between our online and paper petitions. We, the people, want our wide open spaces. Additionally, there is not enough research on long-term effects of these projects on soil health, water quality, and the overall quality of wildlife and/or people who reside near these projects, not to mention the financial aspect of it. As recommended by your own planning commission, I strongly urge the board to uphold the values of our comp plan that we, the people of the county, took part in setting the standard for. I appreciate your time and efforts in this matter. Sincerely, Clint Bonnerx. And this is some of my paper petition.
My name is Mark Klinsky, Union Township supervisor out there. As I see the commercial solar discussions, when the Board of Commissioners voted down the proposed amendment to add a comp use plan in the December 2 meeting. I don't understand why the zoning has not submitted a rewritten proposed amendment to capture the thoughts of the Board of Commissioners, the majority. It's been 2 months now. I guess this takes time to do another proposed amendment. The failed solar amendment was the main reason the Planning Commission denied this conditional use permit. The Planning Commission did not want to add interpretation to the comp plan to include the commercial solar. The comp plan currently does not address commercial solar. Either way, it doesn't allow it, it doesn't deny it. I think that part should be addressed, in my opinion, the amendment to change the comp plan should be addressed maybe before this conditional use permit is discussed. I don't know, unless you're gonna take each conditional use permit individually, case by case. And I did look into the prime ag land, and it's not all prime ag land out there in this proposed. I'm guessing maybe 20% is not. So it's not all prime ag land as was discussed. Thanks.
My name is George Johnston, and I'm from Houston County, down around La Crescent. And of course, everybody's familiar with the comprehensive use plan. And so it's been brought up. But I called My Energy. They said to me that they were maybe in favor of this solar panel, but only if the people of this township and the people of Houston County were for it, and if it followed all the zoning, planning, and the comprehensive use plan. Otherwise, they said no, they do not want to violate the law to put in something. And according to this comprehensive use plan, they're going to violate the law. I explained that to him. He was a little vague. One of them was, one wasn't. And so I guess what I got to say is, if they're not for it, if they can't follow the law, why are we even thinking about letting this pass? It should be, I just think that if you have a rule, like I had mentioned here once before, I can't drive through Caledonia at 70 miles an hour because I'm violating the law. I can't go to work and build 5 houses on 1 acre because I'm violating the comprehensive use plan. So in order to allow this thing to go through, somebody's violating someplace. It just doesn't make sense to me why this should come up. Why isn't there a no thing says, no, according to our comprehensive use plan, you can't build on here. But it just doesn't seem that we come up here all the time and we keep going through the same thing over and over. If you got a plan, if you got a stop sign there, you got to stop. It ain't for me today, and tomorrow I can go through it. It isn't a choice of whether I can go through it or the next guy can go through it. It's for everybody, not for this one. And if you start piecemealing this thing, you're going to have the next guy that comes up and says, well, I want to build this. Well, look what he got his plan through. And all you do is you just create a bigger mess than what's already going. It's just constant ongoing. I want to do this. Sure, everybody wants to do this, but if we didn't have rules and regulations for everything in this country, where would we be? We'd be nowhere. Everybody'd be running around doing whatever they well felt. It just wouldn't work. Thank you much.
Okay, I'm Dan Schonsberg from Caledonia. Okay, so the population of Houston County was 18,382 people in 1980. Today, it's estimated to be 18,352. Our county is not growing, but the footprint of our town has grown, but we've become a lot more energy efficient with things like double and triple pane glass, better insulation, energy efficient appliances, LED lighting. So on the dairy side, there used to be dairy farms all over the county milking and tie-style barns and using electric powered equipment to clean the barns and feed the cows. Today there are way fewer dairy farms in the county using milking parlors for speed and diesel powered equipment for feeding and cleaning the barns. I can't say for a fact, but I bet Houston County isn't using any more electricity now than in 1980. Whenever the power goes out on my farm, I have to create my own electricity. I bet it's been a year and a half since I've had to do so. The only time I can ever remember the power going out in the winter was maybe 2018, when we had freezing rain and high winds that snapped some poles near my farm. Typically, the only time the power is out is due to a storm of some kind. Occasionally, I will have My Energy come to my farm to test for stray voltage, since it can be harmful to the health of dairy cows. Probably about 10 years ago, I asked a guy from My Energy that was doing the stray voltage audit if the cost of electricity would keep climbing no matter how energy efficient we got, and he said yes, that was mainly due to the cost of employees and equipment like new trucks. I asked my dairy nutritionist last week how much commercial solar was in Fillmore County where he lives, and he said approximately 260 acres of solar just a few miles from his farm. But there's supposed to be 4 new solar farms coming online of about 300 acres each. So they will have around 1,500 acres of solar in Fillmore County very soon. The city of Caledonia is about 1,800 acres, so Fillmore County solar would nearly cover the entire city of Caledonia. In October, the city of Harmony annexed 60 acres with the intent of a data center being built. In my opinion, Houston County should just sit back and see how messed up Fillmore County gets. Let the solar project go through, and then solar construction will explode in the county. The data center in Harmony will eat all their solar, so there will be no benefit to the people of Fillmore County. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, and my name's Kelly Meyer, and I'm from Houston County. First, I want to sincerely thank you for your service to Houston County. Your time, effort, and dedication definitely does not go unnoticed, and we appreciate it. I am here to respectfully express my concerns regarding the proposed commercial solar farm project. While I understand the interest in renewable energy, this proposal I feel is inconsistent with the Houston County's comp plan. That plan was created to protect our agricultural land, our wide open spaces, and rural character, assets that define us today as a county. Allowing this project would conflict with those protections and set a precedent for a similar large-scale commercial development in areas intended to remain agricultural and wide open. It would take prime farmland out of the production and permanently alter the surrounding landscape. There are also real concerns for neighboring property owners. I believe this type of development affects property values, land use compatibility, and the quiet rural environment that all of our families have invested in and depend on. Additionally, there are unanswered questions about the long-term health and environmental impacts of these systems. These are important considerations when decisions will be affecting our land for generations. Houston County's natural beauty, productive farmland, and rural identity are among our greatest assets. That is why people choose to live here, work here, and visit here. Once these landscapes are altered, they cannot be easily restored. Finally, while it does not directly relate to today's agenda item, I believe it is important to view this proposal in a broader context of the ongoing infrastructure pressures in our county coming up, including the Marybelle transmission line. Taken together, these projects raise serious concerns about the impacts on our land, our landscape, and our rural way of life. I respectfully urge the board to consider the long-term consequences of this proposal that has already been denied by the Zoning and Planning Board, and to uphold the values and protections outlined in our comprehensive land plan. Thank you for your time and service.
Good morning. I am Rebecca Marshall, and today I'm speaking on behalf of the Houston County Farm Bureau. We would like to address the policies regarding solar facilities on high-quality production farmland in Houston County. On Tuesday, September 26, 2023, at the Houston County Farm Bureau annual meeting, we unanimously passed the following policy. Quote, "We oppose wind and solar facilities being put on production farmland that has a CER, a crop equivalent rating of 70 or higher." End quote. Our members believe that agricultural land and soil are irreplaceable resources that we should protect for future generations. While we support property rights and diversified energy, we encourage the board to consider the long-term impact of agricultural land when reviewing future land use ordinances or conditional use permits. I have also attached the 2026 Minnesota State Farm Bureau official policies on solar energy as a resource which provides more information on how we view these issues across the state. The Minnesota Farm Bureau State Policies for 2026, Section 38, Solar. We support Article 1, drainage and weed control must be maintained and serviced on solar energy generation sites. Article 2, restoration of land use in solar energy generation sites back to its original state through the use of bonding reflecting the size and actual cost to decommission the field. Article 3, solar energy generating sites having no exemption from the Minnesota Prime Farmland Exclusion Statute. And Article 4, raise solar panels to encourage grazing and crop production. We oppose Article 1, renewable energy mandates for wind and solar, and Article 2, solar areas being called farms. Thanks for all the work you do for the county and for taking our perspective into account. Sincerely, Rebecca Marshall, President of the Houston County Farm Bureau, on behalf of the board and our members.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sheila Schrader, Wilmington Township, Houston County. I'm back again because I feel that my issue with the Marybelle transmission line also has a correlation with the solar panel discussion as well. I'm all about preserving our ag land, all tillable ag land. It's all part of our economic, it's our wages. It's the way we make our living, and I want to see that land protected. From 2001 to 2016 in Minnesota, we lost 180,000 acres of land. From 2017 to 2022, we lost another 74,000 acres. And it's predicted that we're on track to lose another 300,000 acres of Minnesota farmland. I have issues with that. Where in the heck is our food going to come from in the future if we don't keep trying to preserve this? The land loss of solar farms, I'm afraid if we start one of these, similar to these transmission lines, that we will just get more and more and more people asking to build. We've been approached for solar farms. I think every farmer in the area has been approached. It's a personal decision to not go with it. I see that the money's there, but it's a personal thing to preserve this land. I don't want to see Houston County developed like the other counties to the north of us, where Byron is the site of a 200 megawatt solar farm using 1,000 to 1,200 acres. Again, like the gentleman before, that's a lot of land. We are losing prime ag land across this whole country. Just take a look at Texas, Virginia, Pennsylvania. It's going at an alarming rate. I want to protect what we have here. We live here for a reason. We love the beauty of our area. The people have told you this, that the beauty in the landscape is their primary focus for living here. I want to see us, if those are the priorities of our county, I think that that's the way we need to vote and to try to preserve all that. Now, if I have a few more seconds left, I just want to say about this Maribel transmission line, looking at the number of acres that they're going to be taking out of our land, the 250-foot proposed easement, we're just worried that they're going to take that 100-ton crane and just go from pole to pole to pole. That's 250 feet where they're going to compact that soil so hard in clay that we are not going to be able to use it again. So our concern is when we write these agreements with them, if it goes that far, we're going to ask them to take the topsoil off to try to preserve that land. But I don't know if that's going to help, because it's going to, the root growth isn't going to get down there. The water's going to wash off that area. I want to really think about this when we try to, I mean, we're going to do our dangest to oppose it, but we really need help. And I don't know, if we have enough. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Wow. Wake up call.
Tom Hommel, Jefferson Township. I'm here to express my concern for the proposed 765 kilovolt Maribel transmission project. I think both the needs of this and the benefits have been poorly explained to us by the power company, and according to the statement on the project's own website, they say, "Together, this team is committed to working closely with communities and citizens to maintain transparent communication and thoughtful planning throughout every stage of the project." The real process has been anything but that. Landowners I've talked to feel the company has been less than forthright about the process, the right-of-way acquisition. And then that's 250 feet, like was just mentioned. The needs of the project have been poorly explained. They just tell us the growth is good and the risks aren't that bad. It seems like we might need to know more than that, like how this will affect the infrastructure of the county and the real risks and benefits of it. We're asked to accept a project that will move power over our heads with no real benefit to those of us in the county. I'd urge the county to put a moratorium on further development of untested technology until the risks and benefits can be figured out. At very least, I'd like to know in more concrete detail what the risks and benefits would be, both to the county government and its individual residents. Thanks.
You.
Hi, Dennis Myrie, Heights in Minnesota. I just don't, I don't agree with wind and solar. They say solar is clean and green energy. There's a lot of mining that goes into making them solar panels for the components in there. Are they gonna be recyclable when they're done, or is it gonna be like the windmill blades that are going to landfill or buried on the edge of the field? If you open that up, you know, there's a lot of, they say they gotta be close to the substations. Well, that ain't true. They can bury a line for quite a ways away to feed going to the substation from the solar panels. And there's substation there behind the Cloudell House. There's a substation on Allen's ground. There's straight southeast corner there. There's a substation on my mom and dad's land there. There's one in Eitzen. I mean, if you start allowing solar panels out in that neck of the woods, I think it's just gonna be, everybody's gonna grab their hand in a cookie jar, because it's a lot of dollars what they're paying for rent on putting solar panels on. There's basically only about two people that really come out of the good with solar panels is people that own the solar panels and the people that the land sits, or that own the land that solar panels are sitting on. And I think they should look at something more like nuclear energy. I mean, we got our subs and our Navy carriers and our ships running on nuclear, and it's clean energy. When Genoa had the nuclear plant going, when them wind towers froze up in Texas, they pumped out $1.2 million worth of electricity in a 24-hour period to Texas. Well, I don't think we could do that with solar. Just unreliable energy. I think we need something that's going to produce electricity 24/7. And you know, if we start putting them out around the countryside, them houses, they're gonna decrease in value, because who's gonna want to live next to all that? I mean, we move out to the country to look at our beautiful creation that we have, and I'd like to keep our wide open spaces, and it's, yeah, it'd be a lot more, it's a lot more prettier out there when you get away from all the fences and everything else. So, thank you for your time, and appreciate it.
Okay. I guess if there's no more public comment, we'll kind of move on here. And we got a point. Let's go to the consent agenda. Somebody want to make a motion to approve that?
Make a motion when we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now we're gonna go into action items. Consider denying or approving a conditional use permit for One Energy Development LLC on behalf of AC4 Farms LLC. Construct a 5 megawatt ground mounted solar dispersion commercial solar project in agriculture protection district, Caledonia Township. The Planning Commission recommends to the Board of Commissioners to deny the CUP request. Amelia.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. As Commissioner Myrie stated, I am here today because a couple weeks ago, the Planning Commission reviewed this 5 megawatt commercial solar project. It is located about a quarter-mile west of the Caledonia substation, and that is at the intersection of Trunk Highway 76 and South Prairie Drive. It is there. I guess essentially we're 3 applicants. We have the landowners, Andy and Sherry Allen. One Energy Renewables is the solar developer, and then My Energy will be the distribution provider, and that they operate that particular substation. They have identified throughout this solar process that there are only 2 substations within the county that have the current infrastructure to site a solar array of this size. Obviously, Caledonia is one of them. And so that is why they were pursuing this location. I do want to clarify, just because some of the comments did touch on the Maribel transmission line as well, that this is connecting to this existing infrastructure and is not connected to the Maribel project at all. So moving forward, I am bringing forward a recommendation of denial from the Planning Commission. This was primarily based on the recommendation of staff. My recommendation was based on incompatibility with our comprehensive land use plan, but through the process, the Planning Commission also cited concerns with water quality, pollution, and then impact on neighbors as well. Excuse me. I want to remind you that in making land use decisions, we have 2 guiding documents. That is the comprehensive land use plan, which is our high-level visionary document. It cites who we are, what we want to see, and a broad framework for how to implement those goals. Then we have our zoning ordinance, and that is really where we set the regulatory framework for how to implement those goals, and also gives us a mechanism for enforcement. This project is moving forward simply because the ordinance does allow solar energy systems. It doesn't set any parameters on them other than that they have to meet our regular structural setbacks. It has no thresholds as far as size, and so that is why I moved this application forward. However, then when the comprehensive land use plan was updated in 2023, we did add an alternative energy section. That was added at that point as we've seen a lot of development as far as accessory solar to dwellings. And I believe My Energy said that at the time, when net metering was allowed, a 40 kilowatt system was the maximum that could be net metered. And so we generally saw those smaller accessory type solar energy systems. And so in the comprehensive land use plan, while we do have a broad goal of encouraging alternative energy options, the one policy that is in there says that we should look at standards and permitting requirements for personal use or individual residences or businesses, as that was consistent with what we were seeing. Just the year after that the commissioners at that time approved this document, though I had been approached by both the applicant and also another energy company in that they were looking at siting commercial systems within the county. And so that is what spearheaded the moratorium that we had seen take place last year. My recommendation is because I do not believe that this proposal meets the intent of the comprehensive land use plan. Section 2.6 of the ordinance says that administration of the ordinance shall be done with due consideration of purposes and objectives of that plan. And simply stating, we had been looking at small scale development. There is a proper way to move forward with a proposal such as this, but that would require action on your guys' part in amending both the comprehensive plan and I would recommend zoning ordinance updates as well. And while I appreciate One Energy Development put together a very thorough proposal, I do feel that if we allow this and fail to follow our comprehensive land use plan, that it discredits the work that our office does and then impacts our ability to enforce these documents in the future, as this is basically every decision that we make is on these documents. So I guess moving forward, we did have public comment. There were 3 included in your staff report, and then 4 spoke at the hearing. A couple of which maybe spoke again today. Rebecca, we had the Farm Bureau comment that came in late, and Rebecca did cover that in public comment today. And then My Energy also submitted a public comment, which directly to you guys on Friday, I believe. And I have not received anything since. So I'm not sure if you guys had additional questions on that proposal. I believe the applicants are here today to answer if you have any technical questions, or just anything in general.
You guys like to come up and talk? Okay.
Do we normally do that with planning commission recommendations or not?
Usually
It's
they have
fine.
the right to.
If we had questions,
Great looking.
we could ask questions.
Yeah, well, they should have the right to stand up here and say what they want to say for a couple minutes, and then we can ask questions.
If it's a couple of minutes, I guess I could live with that. I just didn't want to have to go through an hour presentation like at the planning commission.
I think it's mostly My Energy and one, just you 2 talking?
I mean,
We can,
we can do the presentation, or we can answer questions. It's up to you.
okay. I think you should come up here, and if they have any questions, we can ask them.
Okay.
Only fair way to do it.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Do you want us to speak or just respond to questions?
You can respond to some of the questions if you like.
Okay.
Forgot how many minutes they can give them.
Well, thank you for allowing us to come up here and speak. My name is Beth Esser.
And I'm Braden Dumond.
We're with One Energy Development. Kent
Whitcomb from My Energy had a conflict and was not able to be present. We want to thank Amelia for all of her work on this and appreciate her comments that in no way is this project connected to the Maribel transmission line or any transmission line. All of our projects that we have constructed for Dairyland Power Cooperative members, which are 31 projects, have been connected to distribution lines. So those lines are coming from a local substation that the cooperative controls and serve the needs of that existing substation and existing infrastructure. So for example, at the Caledonia substation, Kent pulled the data from last year. It used 16 million kilowatt hours of energy. And our proposed Wild Turkey Solar project will produce 10 million kilowatt hours of energy. So it is going to serve the existing needs of that substation and not anything else. Kent, in his letter to all of you that was submitted, indicates that that represents a $50,000 a year savings for My Energy Cooperative based on the fact that they are producing that locally versus purchasing that from Dairyland. I think that I wanted to mention that as Amelia also said, the zoning does allow for solar structures, and we, went through the process last year of waiting for an ordinance to be developed, and there was an ordinance proposed, and we developed this project with the setbacks and the size and the agrivoltaics use, the dual use of the land, to comply with that ordinance that had been proposed. The big argument obviously is about prime farmland. So we do feel that this preserves prime farmland for the long term, and it is being utilized for farmland during the life of the project. Ryan Herman has been present at many other meetings. He's the local grazer that we plan to use who will graze his sheep during the life of the project. So all of the project components do comply with the ordinance that had been drafted before you. So we wanted to respect that process that the county had looked at.
The proposed ordinance was denied, right? It was voted down.
Yes.
So, and the reasons were what you thought?
It sounded like the reason was over the denial of solar being allowed on prime farmland. So that's why we went ahead to submit our application.
I have a question about your application. This is a little different because a lot of times Planning Commission requests come from a landowner or someone that wants to do something that actually resides in the county. This is actually an agreement with One Energy. And you also have landowners, you have My Energy involved. Who's ultimately responsible for this project?
So we have a long-term lease agreement with the landowners for us to lease a portion of their land to host the solar project. And then we have a power purchase agreement with My Energy Cooperative to purchase the power from the solar project. And in the lease agreement, we commit to restoring and removal of the solar facilities when the project is no longer producing power. So it is, none of it would be possible without all three partners.
So who does One Energy work for?
We're an independent solar developer.
You stated in the Planning Commission that the tax credits that you receive to do this project doesn't go to you?
Right, we do not have enough tax liability as a company.
Who gets that?
We have different partners that we work with on the portfolio of projects that we are building for Dairyland members. It's called Key State Community Bank.
So it goes to a bank.
Or private shareholders, I'm assuming, that have your company? It looks like you're all over,
Country.
based in, from One Energy.
One Energy. One Energy does have offices in Seattle, Portland, Boulder, Colorado, Madison, Wisconsin, and in Maryland. But our Midwest office works on these projects in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. So our projects that we work on in the Midwest, Braden and I work mostly with Dairyland Power Cooperative members. There are some investor-owned utilities that we work with as well. So depending on the project, it's set up differently in terms of who benefits from the tax credits. But in the case of the Dairyland Power Cooperative projects, the financing of these projects include a tax investor and a renewable energy credit investor, and then our financing that we get just as a company for construction.
Anyone else got any questions?
Ask a question.
Sure.
Bruce Bowman, is that a marketable commodity, the credit?
Renewable energy credits?
Is the credit a marketable entity?
I guess I don't know if I understand the question.
Do you get paid for the credit?
Oh, that is part of the financing of the project, yes. So we are able to keep our costs down to the off-taker, My Energy in this situation, because people are able to, like Key State is able to benefit from the tax credit, and our renewable energy credits also are marketable. Yes, they are sold.
Did the renewable energy credit run out? December of this year. Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions?
No more questions from the board? All right, oh, I got one.
I think we should refrain from having the public ask questions here.
Interact.
Well, then let's move on then, I guess, if there's no more questions from the board.
So we have an action item right now to consider denying or approving the conditional use permit. So that is the action item that is on the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to make a point of clarification. I know Mark brought this up in his public comments, and I'm not sure if you misspoke or not, but you were referring to the comp plan that we proposed an amendment to the comp plan, which was voted down. That's not exactly what happened. We have proposed an ordinance for commercial solar, which was voted down. I mean, we spent a year coming up with an ordinance during the moratorium, and planning commission went through that, studied everything, and came up with an ordinance that they recommended to bring to the county board for approval. At the end of the day, that was denied, voted down. So therefore, we didn't go ahead and amend the comprehensive land use plan because the ordinance was voted down. So I just wanted to make that clear. So if we were to move forward now, we would still have to amend that comprehensive land use plan, and we should have an ordinance to address the commercial solar. I still believe that. So I serve on the planning commission, been involved with this quite a bit. I've done a lot of research on solar projects. And so I was part of the majority that wanted to deny this permit for the simple reason we don't have amendment to the comprehensive land use plan, and we don't have a specific ordinance to regulate commercial solar. I mean, we don't have anything in there for setback requirements. We don't have anything in there for dismantling the solar when it's end-of-life use. Decommissioning, they call it. And I think we need that all in there, so I make the recommendation. I mean, I guess I can make the motion unless somebody else wants to, but I'll make a motion to deny the permit as recommended by the planning commission.
Okay, there's been a motion
Second,
and a second.
based on the same reason. And also, what Amelia mentioned, that, you know, if you don't have an ordinance in place, it's really hard to enforce what it is that we need.
And we need to follow the process, how this all works. We, you know, our moratorium ran out, so that's where it gave them the opportunity to submit an application. We had to deal with it, but we need to do this in the right order, and we need to do it right. So
we have a motion and a second.
Any more discussion? There is no more discussion. We'll do roll call.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes. Yes is to deny, right?
correct.
I agree with the motion.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
I'm gonna go yes. The only reason I'm going yes is because we need to redo our comp plan. It's gotta be redone. We need to amend that. So that's the only reason why I'm voting yes, is because we need to redo that and make this, it's coming down the road. We better prepare for it. And that's my opinion, so, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Moving on. Consider reviewing and approving payments. Carol?
If anybody had any questions,
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Coordinator updates?
Yeah, just a couple of things I wanted to say for our rifle public hearing. There may kind of been some miscommunication. We did talk about it, that it was gonna be tonight, February 3rd, but it was officially scheduled for tomorrow night. Tonight is caucus night. By Minnesota statute, we cannot have a public hearing. So everything that we put out in the paper and all our public notices do say February 4th, 2026 at 6 PM. So it will not be tonight, it is tomorrow night. So if you know anybody that is planning on being here or has an interest in this, help reach out, because I think there's a few people that still think it's tonight. We do have signs on the doors of the historic courthouse that it will be tomorrow night. So if anybody does show up tonight, we will have signs that it will be in the Houston County Justice Center in the basement tomorrow night. And so that is where it's still planned to be at tomorrow night. February 4th at 6 PM is the Houston County Justice Center in the basement. And our and then we also have a March 3rd date as well, 2026, 6 PM. So if you could help spread that word, so we have, in the same place, yep.
That was not in any papers, the change of the date or anything like that? It was not?
So we discussed it here, that we were gonna put out a public notice and then found out that it was caucus night. So the public notices that we pushed out did say February 4th. So all the notices were correct. It's just, there was anticipation, probably before the notices went out
The
that,
newspapers, I think, noted that, right?
yeah.
They're
yeah,
shaking
to
their
answer your
heads.
question, Bev, the newspapers did make the correction in the paper.
Yeah, so if you could help spread the word on that, that would be fantastic. And then also just to kind of, we had that action item and involving the solar. Amelia and I are gonna get together and work on something. We plan on looking at ordinances and trying to shore up some of our ordinances coming here in the near future. So we'll be coming to the board at some point to talk about some of our ordinances. And that's all I have.
Okay. Board chair. Well, I don't have much to say, I guess, as, I really want to concentrate on, our board is trying to do something about this power line, Maribel. I think we need to step up here.
Resolution?
We got to do something, find a way,
Working on it.
because, I don't think that's fair. We ain't allowing solar panels, so why are we gonna allow them? They're gonna take up more ag land when you get all said and done than solar panels, so. We need to stop this. We need to do a resolution or some kind of an ordinance in the county.
And we'll get a kind of a resolution drafted on that.
Can we get with our attorneys and find out what we can do and what we can't do?
Yeah, I've been in contact with Sue. I know there's a lot of research involved with that, but we're trying to figure that out and as far as what our abilities are at this moment.
Okay, that's all I got. Bob?
Starting at my end. All right. I didn't have any extra meetings this last period. Received numerous emails and phone calls. Some of the people are here. Thank you for your inputs. I guess, yeah, we got a lot of work. We got to get our zoning people on, so.
Okay. Sure.
Upcoming annual joint ECB RAC, we're talking about the continuing with the school mapping through emergency services, our E911. Upcoming, next 5 years, we'll be having to change all of our emergency communication dispatch centers. The end of life on their councils and stuff is coming. We're sitting in a good spot for Houston County as far as funding for that goes, so not on the taxpayers, which is a great thing. We have a department head meeting coming up. We got the schedule, whoever gave that out, thank you.
Carol.
So we know that. Thanks, Carol. That's all I got.
Eric?
Yeah, I too have had a lot of phone calls and emails these past few days, and I really appreciate that, to get input from the public. I share your concerns as far as our beautiful wide open spaces and our landscape. I mean, we have a treasure here in Houston County, and I think we need to preserve that. As far as the Maribel project, I too think we should come up with a resolution to have some questions answered. I don't want to overpromise anything on this because, you know, at the end of the day, this is probably out of our hands, but if we band together and ask the right questions and address our concerns, I think it'll make a difference. And I too have concerns of the future of this line with that high voltage line. I know when they came here and talked to us here, it's been a few months ago, I specifically asked them if they would be able to tap in that line and to distribute power or to put power in, and they said yes, they would. So that tells me that there's going to be an opportunity for more substations built to help feed into this power, because, you know, when I also asked the question of where's this power come from? Well, they couldn't tell me that. That'd be an answer for MISO to do that. Well, okay, I have a feeling, I can't prove this, but I just have a feeling they don't have the power yet to fill that high voltage line, but they're gonna get it. They're gonna go after the power through wind, solar, who knows what else to fill that line. So we need to be aware of that and come up with ordinances and stick to our comp plan that talks about preserving our beauty in the county. So I get it. Just want you to know that. That's all I got. Got an EDA meeting tomorrow morning, right? Yep.
Cindy?
Just to echo what Eric is talking about with the whole Maribel project. You know, we started hearing about this last fall, and I remember contacting them, and, you know, we worked out that they came to the board meeting and they're giving public sessions. They've emailed and answered questions. They've also mailed those residents, hopefully, that are affected. But, you know, in the resolutions that are out there from Wisconsin and Minnesota, it looks like people are asking, you know, more questions as far as, you know, is this something that is in stone, you know, because we have people that their homes are going to be affected, Century Farms, there's going to be major issues, you know, with some of that build out. And I too have the same question as far as where is that energy going? Because it's interesting because you know, in discussions with a lot of the energy companies like that, they're selling energy, basically. That's why we pay our bills for energy. But they also are creating a bigger need for energy by data centers and, you know, some other construction. So we're going to have that to feed into it. And I'm thinking, for a long time, I've heard that energy isn't staying here. So I think anything that we can do locally, I agree, there's only, you know, when they apply to the Department of Commerce or Public Utilities, it's going to be really difficult to shake anything and make any difference. But if we can do something for our local community to prevent some of these things from happening to our residents, that's what I want to look at with the resolutions, hopefully. And we better do it soon, because I think that they are applying the first part of this year.
I'll start working on some resolution stuff, and I just, if any of the Board of Commissioners have anything specifically they would like questions asked, just let me know, and we'll make sure that that's part of it in there.
Have some
So,
examples,
yep.
yeah.
So we'll start working on that and getting that put together so we can get that out sooner than later and have that in front of the board.
Okay, also, just a couple of things with meetings. Just a plug for Hiawatha Valley Mental Health has a session that they're sponsoring in Spring Grove tonight, Bringing Light into Darkness, 4:30 to 7:30. It's a great program. If anybody's free, you're certainly invited to go. The public's invited to that. EDA tomorrow. I've had SHAC public health meetings at the end of last week, and Selco, but otherwise nothing else to report.
I saw that on the news this morning with the Spring Grove thing, so.
Oh, good. Yeah, they're advertising it. Some schools don't allow it. Basically, it's about suicide prevention, which is, you know, some districts don't want to do that, I guess, but.
What are you doing with your free time?
What do you mean?
I said ask.
I have free time.
One EDA related reminder, we're having our annual Bluff Country Collaborative, or BCC, Career Fair and Hiring event in La Crescent at the La Crescent Area Event Center on March 11th from 9 a.m. to noon. The event is free for Houston County businesses and job seekers in the area to attend. We're asking that businesses sign up by February 11th, and the fair is on March 11th.
Yeah, and I just want to point out too, I got a letter here from Gopher to Badger Link from Dairyland Power, XL Energy. And they have a calendar date of what's going to go happen. So this month, they're going to have a certificate of need application filed in April of 2026, this spring. They're going to have informational and scoping meetings and opportunity for public comment. And then August of 26, they're going to have an environmental report issued. And then in September, they're going to have public hearings, and that's the opportunity for public comment. And then by February of next year, of 27, that'll be when the commission makes a decision. So I know it's been talked about to do a moratorium. We need to look into that to see if we could even do that. And we need to time that to have its most effect. whether, we do that in 27 or we do that right now or what. That's what we gotta figure out.
The sooner the better.
Sooner the better.
That's,
Get on it now.
yeah, if we can do that, I think we should consider that, so.
And it's good, I've had over 30 calls this weekend too about different subjects, but it's definitely good to keep on top of it and also hear from people and what they want.
Well, it's better to get in early than late. Okay, is that all you got, Cindy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just a reminder for the meeting tomorrow night for the,
Tomorrow night for rifles, March 3rd for rifles, over at the center. Over here at the police, down in the basement.
yep, at the Justice Center.
Outside of that, anybody else got any upcoming things that they need to know? Otherwise, then we'll go to closing public comment. Anybody would like to make another comment, please come forward.
Good morning, Sherry Allen, landowner. I have a few comments. First, I want to say we appreciate everybody's respectful commentary from both sides up there with you and also in the group behind us. When we started out this process, people weren't always very respectful, so I expect, thank you. I'm glad it was made clear that we do not have anything to do with Maribel. We've never, Andy and I don't even support the Maribel project ourselves, so I'm glad that was made clear. Regarding the comp plan work that you guys have to do and that you started and did not finish, my comments on that is I wanted to make it publicly known because the article that was in the newspaper was kind of misleading. The reason it was voted down was because the wording was set to only affect people with prime land. And I believe it was voted down because that wasn't fair, right? If you're going to make a comprehensive plan or an ordinance that affects solar, it should be affecting everyone across the board, in my opinion. You shouldn't just attack people with prime land. If you're going to, this is my opinion to you, if you're going to make an ordinance, I just think it should be fair for landowners, no matter what their land is labeled at, that it should be consistent for all landowners, not just saying people that have prime land can't do it, but everybody else can. And I believe that's why it was voted down, because that's how it was written. And the intent was for that ordinance to come back to be adjusted to allow agrivoltaics, and that just didn't happen. So I think that's the work that needs to be done. And then another thing on the existing comprehensive plan, the way I understand it, personal solar isn't limited right now. If we were doing this on our own dime, we could cover our entire farm with solar. So I think you need to address that as well. If you're addressing commercial solar, you should also address personal solar and put some guidelines around it, just so you're doing it all in one shot. And so those are my suggestions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get 3 minutes
Oh,
also?
sorry.
Yeah, you get your own 3 minutes, yeah.
Great. Let me know when you're ready.
You
All
start.
right. My name's Andy Allen, a proud resident of Caledonia and Houston County. And this is, I think everybody in this room back there and up here, it's kind of a little bit of relief, good, bad, or indifferent. Sherry and I love the community. We love what we get to do, and that's to live here and to farm. And not gonna get emotional, but I'll probably do it anyway. I wanna say, there's been a lot of hard work on all parts. I mean, I can commend the people that opposed our solar project. They put a lot of time into that, and I'll give them credit where credit is due. That's remarkable for them, and I can see that's also coming on the pike for the Maribel, which we do not support. I want to make sure of that. Everybody here has had a hard job, and I just take a peaceful moment and just say thank you to everybody. And, in the audience, the people that were opposed to us, and you as well. It's a hard decision. We thought what we were doing was going to support the community. When we were approached by MI Energy, And when we were approached by One Energy, and we still do, I'm not saying that we don't feel that way. We did feel that it was gonna be a significant asset for the community. We didn't realize that it was gonna upset the people that did. And we meant no harm, no foul by any of this. We appreciate the support and the comments and the conversation. And after this process, I feel I've been educated significantly. And she's put a lot of hard work into it too. So anyway, just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Well, you guys want to go for dinner?
Yeah, that's too early for dinner.
We're good.
I'm Franklin Hahn. The comments made that we were opposed, I'm just talking as a board now, that we're opposed to the Allens. That's no intention at all. When we as a board make a decision, we have three things that we go by. We go by the comp plan, we go by the shoreland, and we go by the zoning ordinance. When an application comes in, no matter what it is, we go by those three things. If a flag comes up, it's hard for us as a board to go ahead and approve one project if it doesn't qualify with the planning commission, with the zoning ordinance, the zoning ordinance, and then next month, a same proposal comes in and we approve it. I have several phone calls I have had. Can't you just slip that through and nobody will know the difference? You can't do that. You gotta be consistent. So I thank you folks for taking the time, studying this, because you got an important job to do there. As far as changing the zoning ordinance or the comp plan, we can't be changing it every month for everything that comes in. What we got now is what we have to stick with. So I just wanted to make that comment that we got nothing as a board personally against anybody that comes in. We have to stick to the rules. I thank you.
I just want to echo what Franklin said too. What we've been dealing with here, this has never been a personal thing. It's based on principle and rules that we need to follow. And so personalities should be stayed out of it and just look at the facts and the rules in place. And so this was not anything directed towards the Allens or anything like that, so.
Any more public hearing?
I have a question. I understand that if something isn't addressed in the land use plan as being allowed, it is automatically not allowed. Is that true?
Amelia, you want to answer that one?
In the zoning ordinance, if something's not addressed, then it.
Yeah, it would be addressed in the zoning ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Not the plan.
Okay, but it's true.
Our
that-
comp plan is it's basically like our guide
Right.
to enact ordinances, to come up with ordinances, to follow this, what's said in the comp plan, so.
Okay, but if it isn't specifically addressed in the zoning ordinance, then it is automatically not allowed. Is that correct?
Basically.
That could be a possibility if there's something that comes up that's not specifically addressed. We could become the wild, wild west. Is that what you're getting at?
No,
Okay.
I just thought, okay, thank you.
Hi, Mark Klinsky again. Commissioner Johnson, you were right. I misspoke the amendment to the comp plan instead of the amendment to the zoning ordinance.
Yep.
Yes. So hopefully they will take this up soonly. So, yeah, that was just my only other comment, I guess, and about the beauty of the county, everything. Hopefully you will remember this when CAFOs come by and want to expand about the beauty of everything in the county, so, thank you. Yep, it's a whole nother
Subject, yep.
Just a comment about the comprehensive plan. I know that when it was adopted, it was discussed when it would be reviewed. And I know at that point, it looked like from the meeting, it was 10 years, and then it was also suggested, I think, by Greg, that it was 5 years. So, I mean, that's a routine. Anybody that has a strategic plan or a plan, you know, there is a time for review anyway. But, so to just address people that are saying it's, you know, just when something comes up, it needs to be changed. I think it is a routine review of a plan that we always have to do. 1 year seems like too often, but 5 years was what I read in the notes, that was set to be reviewed. So if we have something
5
before.
or 10? I
Well-
was under the assumption it's to be reviewed every 10 years. That's always the normal suggestion.
That was the discussion. I looked in your minutes and, I was actually on the planning commission around that time too. So it was 10 years, but it was also suggested, like I said, that it be a 5-year possibly.
Okay.
So,
I know that could be the case for the ordinances to be reviewed every 5 years.
Right.
And the comp plan every 10 years.
mhm.
When we did the comp plan in 23, that hadn't been done for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that was too long. I shouldn't say 20 years, but what they did is they just renewed it. You know, they just basically kept the same one and kept voting on that same one. And 23 is when we really did the work and hired TKDA to come in and help us with this. And we got public input through surveys and at the fair. And we did a lot of work on that. I was involved with that. I know Allison was involved with that. Several people in department heads were involved with it, Brian and Amelia. So, I mean, to go and change it so quick, I don't really care for that, but doesn't mean you can't do it, but.
My point was just making that it was always going to be reviewed.
Right.
But I think also it would be beneficial for us to have some foresight and work in a lot of other things too that are coming around the corner in that, if we're taking a look at it and possibly amending it before that point. Because there's a lot of other sustainability areas that we need to look at, or like we talked about, data centers, battery storage. There's some major things that we should probably look at before we have an application for it.
Battery storage is a big thing too, coming.
Yeah.
Data centers too, yeah.
Times are changing, we're gonna have to change with the times, and that's about the way it's gonna work. I mean,
It's true.
if somebody comes forward, like now we're dealing with solar, we're dealing with the power lines, I mean, we might have to do some adjusting to us to protect our county.
To protect the county, I'm for that, yeah.
You know, well, I mean, that's what I'm looking at here is, I mean, so we need to get ahead of these people before they get ahead of us.
Easier said than done, Greg.
I know.
Doesn't mean you can't try.
That's right. Try we shall.
And I don't think we need to wait 10 years to renew our comp plan. I mean, we could be buried in all kinds of stuff by the time we change things, so we need to be on top of this. And if there's a situation, I think it needs to be changed when the time comes. And with that, I guess, any more public comment? I'll make a motion to adjourn. No, somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I usually do it, so.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.